Welcome everyone. Today we have a patch 1.3 preparation video for the maintenance and also for the things we can do before the maintenance. In this video, we'll have a look at two countdown timers for when the maintenance starts and also when the maintenance ends. I have always prepared the countdown timers, and also I have prepared a number of tips before the patch 1.3 maintenance and the things we can look towards before the patch starts. We'll go through the required materials for Xiao and also for Hotel, and have a look at how does the Xiao's Ascension material actually changes into the Juvenile Jade. And we'll have a look at how to farm those particular materials from the new patch 1.3 boss. We'll be going through some of the patch 1.3 specific tips with the new boss, and also how can we get Xiao's Ascension materials. We'll go through the preparation of this new boss in more details with the attack pattern, different mechanics, and also how to use different characters. After that, we'll go through some of the common preparations with the Resin, with the Expedition, with different gadgets, and also how to prepare for things before the maintenance starts. We'll go through some of the helpful frequently asked questions, and what happens when we have some troubleshoots, and where can we go and where can we get more help. Now, as most of us knows, the correct time for the maintenance starts will be correctly calculated with our individual time within the game. For me, it is 9 AM Australia time, and the actual time for the correct maintenance is actually 6 AM Chinese time. And over here I have made two countdown timers. The first one is when the maintenance starts. The second one is when the maintenance ends. The maintenance will take 5 hours, and we're likely to get at least 300 Primogems from this maintenance. So if you're wondering what time does the maintenance starts, make sure you come over to the first countdown timer. And if you're wondering what time can we start playing patch 1.3 and go for Xiao, come to the second countdown timer. I'll have those ready for you guys in the description below. And if the maintenance for patch 1.3 does get delayed, we can get 60 Primogems for each hour that the server is down. So secretly, I'm actually hoping for a longer maintenance for us to get more Primogems. But we also want to play, so it's a really hard choice. Now, I'm sure most of us know that the pre-download for the game has already started for the PC and also the mobile version. This is quite important, and I do recommend everyone to pre-download the game. This is in order to avoid the peak delays when everyone tries to download the game after the patch. And also, I had some troubleshoots the first time with patch 1.2, so I was hoping to get some frequently asked questions with the troubleshooting guide. And thankfully enough, the developers did release this particular post about 5 hours ago. So over here, if we do run into any problems with a PC, with the compatibility, with any questions, with any pop-up messages, have a look at this and see if you can find any results. And for me, with patch 1.2, I had so much trouble, I had to uninstall the game and re-download the game. You can see this talk about the download speed, this talk about the process. There's a lot of ways to do things. So be aware guys, if you do run into trouble with the patch 1.3 update, come over to this post and see if you can get any help. It's quite comprehensive. Look how long it is. So there's a lot of questions, a lot of answers over here. Now coming over to this particular tweet by Davatagi, who has always been making a very helpful Genshin back visual image guide. And over here you can see, he said this information is based on the data mine materials, which actually came from the Honey Hunters website. From this website, we can see Xiao actually requires a new Ascension material, and he also updated over here. If you guys are planning for Xiao or maybe Hotel, have a look at this. So at the moment, we believe that the new Ascension material will come from the new boss in patch 1.3, the Juvenile Jade. And this is why a majority of the tips and guide for patch 1.3 will focus on this particular material and this particular boss. It's really nice to see what materials we need and prepare for Xiao. Keep in mind guys, all the books talent here over here is to get the maximum level of the talents. You do not need this many books. So if you're going for Xiao, you can start preparing for those materials now. Now coming over to our guides and also tips before the maintenance. We do want to have a shield character to prepare for the 1.3 boss fight. Now if you guys have seen the boss over here, there is a number of different elements of the primal dragons we can fight. And this is one of the Hydra ones. This is one of the Pyro ones. Over here we have a Hydra one. So depending on the element of the boss, we want to have a shield character if we can to correspond to the shield, to the element of the boss. This will allow us to protect ourselves and also deal extra damage to the boss. Now previously we have talked about the boss mechanics. Firstly, it is rumored to drop Xiao's Ascension materials, and we can see those over here with the Juvenile Jade. After that, what we want to be aware is the boss is able to absorb different elements, and they can cast special elemental skills. Similarly to the ones we can see in the live stream, we can see the boss is casting a fire skill. During this particular phase, if we have a character that protects us with a shield, we can reflect and retaliate boss's damage. And if the particular shield matches the boss's damage, we can deal additional damage to the boss. So it's really important for us to plan for a shielding character against this particular boss, because without shield character, this can be very difficult. Now, on the point of having a shield character, did you guys see that all 3 characters that was in the banner with Xiao with the 4 stars, they all provide a shield? Diana gave us a cryo shield, a electric shield with Bidu, and also a pyro shield with Xingyan. This is stating that we really want a shielding character for this particular boss. Similarly over here, we can see Bidu and also Noel in the shop. Those are again 2 shielding characters. Notice that the developers are hinting us to have a shield character on the team. So it's really nice, guys, if you do plan to go for the boss, to have at least 1 shielding character on the team. Zhongli can also be very good here because he has recently received a massive buff for multiple of his skills, in terms of his massive offensive capacities with reducing the boss's elemental and also physical resistance, which can make Zhongli very powerful. Now, still on the topic against the patch 1.3 boss, we know this is going to be an elite world boss, and for this particular boss, we want to have as much resin as we can. So what I recommend is we can use the in-game particular countdown to prepare ourselves for the maximum resin. Notice I have timed myself so I can get almost maximum resin when the patch starts, and this is actually really good. Keep in mind, although we cannot use condensed resin for the boss, it will cost 40 resin against the boss fight. Even if we can't use this, we should still craft for 3 condensed resins in preparation for patch 1.3, because we'll always need those, and it's much better to have as much condensed resin and also as much resin as we can. And then we also should be saving our federal resins for patch 1.3, for as many boss fights as we can, so we can farm those materials. Now coming to our third tip, I'm sure most of us know that to not kill the weekly boss before the new battle pass is up. This will be really nice to have as a fast paced with the new battle pass, which will give us a free federal resin with a resin update. So we'll be getting at least 5 free federal resin for the free to play battle pass and also 5 for buying the battle pass. This can be really nice. So we really don't want to kill the weekly boss before the battle pass. But if you happen to have killed the boss already, don't worry, we can still kill it again by ourselves or in co-op. This can also count towards a battle pass. Similarly, there's also battle pass missions for the reputation and also the force bearing tree. We also want to save those after. And similarly, if we do have trouble with those, we can still try in co-op. But I do believe those tasks are a little different. So I'm not sure if we can try those in co-op. I know the boss can be tried in co-op. So if you have saved your reputation and also the force bearing tree wishes, we can gain more experience with the battle pass. Next up, we'll go through some of the basic tips before every maintenance. Firstly, we'll be looking at about 40 resins for the 5-hour update. And knowing that we get 7 resin per hour, we can start to calculate with the in-game timer, so we can use this timer as reference. We should want to spend at least down to 120 resin in case the update gets delayed. We can get more value out of the resin this way. Similarly, we should always have at least 5 hours of the expedition for the characters, and also be considering to have some of the weapon enhancements crafted. So over here you can see that I have got all my characters ready. I will have those guards ready for the new patch update to make sure I have at least 5 hours. And we can also be crafting some of the weapon materials for the new weapons we might be getting from the new patch. And as well for final tips, as we have the new boss fight and also new event locations, we can consider to be crafting some of the warp portals and also some of the specialty food. Those food can provide us with special buffs against the boss, or we can have some of the elemental resisting potions against the boss or have bonus elemental damage. So in the game, I'll be crafting at least 2 of my warp portals just so I can travel around the places and also to fight the bosses faster. There's also a lot of potions, a lot of items that can be available. Depending on the elements of the boss, we can go with increased damage or we can go with defensive capacities. So this can be really helpful. And especially with the new boss mechanics, if we do find it to be a little difficult, make sure we craft some of those potions to reduce the damage we take for the entire party against a certain element. So depending on the element of the boss, we can counter them, we can also deal additional damage. And this can be really helpful. Now hopefully you guys found this particular video helpful to prepare for patch 1.3. I'm also working towards the next part for the to-do list for patch 1.3. There is actually quite a few things, so I think I won't be able to fit in this video. I'll make a separate video for this one. There's a lot of specific things, and I do plan to make a calendar for all the events that is coming in patch 1.3. This can get us better prepared for the new patch and also to get as many loots as we can, because there's a lot of things to go through. So I wish you guys best of luck going for Xiao and have the greatest time in patch 1.3. Now if you found this video helpful, make sure you subscribe and also turn the little bell on for the latest news. I'll be looking towards to make more builds, guides, tips and news and event updates for us as we come further into the game. And as always, I wish you guys the best of luck with Genshin and have the most fun in exploring this wonderful world.